My name is Joe Miller. I'm a parishioner at St. Joe Parish, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to take part in this series on what it means to be a father. And the part that I was asked to reflect on is on what it means to be a godfather. So a couple days ago, I took a picture of our little 1-year-old and sent it to his godfather. His godfather's name is Kevin. And so right after James, our son, turned 1, I sent him this photo. And then a couple seconds later, I got a message back from Kevin that said, he looks great, he's growing fast. And then a couple seconds after that, a second text message came through and it said, I pray for him every day. And that made me feel great because that made me feel like we definitely picked the right godfather, because in its simplicity, at its heart, I feel like that's the most important thing about being a good godfather. It's not the gifts that we send or the cards that we send a couple times a year, but it's that commitment to accompany the child in prayer from the moment of baptism all the way through their journey in discipleship. And so it really made me feel happy and grateful that Kevin understood that and does that. And I believe him when he says that he prays for James on a daily basis. My wife and I have 4 children of our own, but I have 8 godchildren that range in the ages from 25 down to, I think, 6. And I feel really grateful for that opportunity to accompany them in prayer. I remember when we were going through marriage prep and we were talking about with the priest about having kids one day, and the priest said that the most important thing that we will ever give to our children is to give them the gift of faith. And I still believe that to be abundantly true. And I think of the role of godparents or as a godfather as being one who sort of is a in the background type person who helps to not just give that faith, but to cultivate and to strengthen that faith, mostly through prayer over time. So the ways that I've tried to do that with the 8 little guys, or some are bigger guys now, that I'm godfather to over the years, has been simply when I do send the obligatory card for a birthday or for Christmas, just to make sure that there's something in my note to that child that has something to do with faith in it, and also actually specifically mentions to them that I am praying for them every day. And then the other thing that, just in a small way, that I've tried to be consistent about over the years is when I go and spend some time with one of the godchildren, I always try to do something that's fun, but also do something that has to do with the faith as well. My nephew and godson Charlie, he's I think the oldest one. He's 24 now, 25. But when he was 3, 4, 5 years old, I used to take him up to that fishing shop up in Edwardsburg called Lunkers. And we would go up there and check out all the fishing stuff, and we would have a hamburger. And then on the way back, we would stop at Pius X because it was right off the 23 there, and we'd make a visit to the Blessed Sacrament in the chapel and say a prayer together for his family and for the rest of the extended family, and just ask God to continue to work in his life. And to this day, so many years later, 20 years later, he remembers that. And I think it's just a simple way to make sure that being a godfather doesn't mean just being like the cool uncle or the cool friend. It means that you're actually taking very seriously the role of accompanying in faith more than anything else, as just sort of a prayer warrior for the child over time. And then finally, I do think of St. Joseph, and I think that godfathers have a lot to learn from Joseph, because he was there at the very beginning. He was there when they presented Jesus at the temple. So too, godfathers are there when the child is presented for baptism. And then actually for much of Jesus's life, we don't know exactly how old Jesus was when Joseph passed away, but it's probably true to say that he wasn't there for a lot of Jesus's life. And similarly, as I think about these 8 godchildren that I have, they're spread around the country, and I really don't see them that often. Kind kind of like Joseph, I suppose, didn't see Jesus that often at a certain point in time. But I'm sure that Joseph accompanied Jesus in thought and in prayer throughout his whole life. And similarly, I think even if I don't see these guys that often, I can indeed pray for them by name on a daily basis. I don't always do that. I can do better at it. This video is an opportunity for me to take advantage, to recommit to doing that. But I think it means a lot. So grateful for the opportunity to share a couple of ideas on what it means to be a godfather. St. Joseph, pray for us.